Valkyria Chronicles is honestly one of my favorite IPs by SEGA. This tactical JRPG mixes my love of strategic gameplay, World War II, and engrossing narratives to create a mix of game that I cannot help but fall in love with. So finally, after nearly 8 years, Western fans have a chance to delve into Valkyria Chronicles once again. For those of you who are confused as to why this isn't Valkyria Chronicles 3, well, Valkyria Chronicles 3 was a PSP exclusive that sadly was never officially localized for an English release. That said, I am glad that the 4th entry has been able to make its way over officially. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is a strategy turn-based JRPG in which you take control of Squad E, an elite squad of rangers to fight special op missions for the Federation in the Second European War. The game itself is broken up into chapters, and the chapters themselves are broken up into episodes in which you can watch the story progress, and go on missions in which you have to put your strategy skills to the test. Those coming in from earlier entries may be surprised to see how many battles you'll be fighting in each chapter, and how long some of these chapters are. Honestly, I'm not sure where to begin with Valkyria Chronicles 4's story. The story was something that kept me on the edge of my seat from chapter to chapter. In this war, you are tasked with some seemingly impossible missions, and each mission just seems more and more impossible than the last. It had gotten to the point where I was honestly feeling exhausted alongside my units as we went forward, wondering if there was actually an end in sight. And to be honest with you, I absolutely loved it. Of all of the Valkyria Chronicles games that I have played, this one would have to be the one that kept me the most emotionally attached out of the lot. The writing in this game does a fantastic job of making you feel the gravity of every situation at hand. You and everyone around you at times could die at any moment, and the game never fails to remind you of that, and keeps you at alert at all times. However, the writing of this game would be nothing if it were not for the colorful cast of characters that populated this world. The cast of Valkyria Chronicles 4 is really great. While Squad 7 will always be my favorite main squad in the series, Claude, Raz, Riley, and Kai after Team of Misfits honestly came in a close second. The main cast of characters in this game really bring everything together, and they honestly play off each other very well. This helps by the fact that they are all childhood friends who were separated and brought back together due to the cruel mistress of life. Through the story, I grew to love all of their quirks and personalities and made them all feel like standout protagonists in their own game. While Claude is the commander, the other three managed to make the game feel like there is not just one protagonist, but the entire team is one. This type of chemistry made the experience all the better. Speaking of characters, while the main squad units have the spotlight, that doesn't mean everyone else in Squad E can't share in this fame. What I love the most, and is something I wish earlier Valkyria Chronicles games did, was that almost every unit gets some sort of on-screen performance. During a cutscene or a flashback, you are bound to see one of your playable units in the midst of a scene, or part of one of the main cast backstories. I honestly love this. It went a long way making all of Squad E feel like one giant family. It also made it seem like even though I was not using everyone, they were still helping in the war effort in one way or another. The way this was handled honestly built the world around it for the better, and you can continue to learn more about them in detail through character subchapters too. And character subchapters is where you'll learn about the backstories and all of the quirks of several different teammates. The game does an amazing job of developing even the smallest character in this game, and this is honestly a real treat. Now on to the meat and potatoes of the game. Remember, this is war, and you'll be directing your squad to go out and do numerous missions. The gameplay for the most part is your standard Valkyria Chronicles fare. You select the units you want to use for a mission, and then you have to go and complete the objective with them. You will get a certain amount of command points on each turn, and depending on how many leaders you have in play, you'll get a few additional ones. You'll use these points to move your units across the battlefield. You then take direct control of them, and you can continue to move them as long as they have the AP to move. This is where a lot of the strategy comes in, as each class has its own different movement speeds, weapons, and the like. You'll have to make the choice of if you want to send a scout out to try and capture the enemy's base, or send a shock trooper to mow through a path of the enemies in your way. Since you'll be playing the role as commander of this band of misfits, you'll have a lot of special abilities that you can perform. These come in the form of orders. This allows you to buff and debuff your units or get them out of sticky situations. What I appreciate this time around is that the missions are much more varied compared to some of the earlier entries, where all you had to do was buff a scout with good traits and rush through. In this game, doing that will be the quickest way to get your team killed. Some other changes to the game is the fact that vehicle units no longer require 2 command points to use, and now only require 1. This makes tank warfare much more viable in different circumstances, and can add a whole new layer of strategy for the things that you can do. Another cool addition to this game is the inclusion of the last stand. If your unit enters critical condition, they have the ability to make one final push before they collapse. This can honestly lead to its own level of strategy. In a dire situation, I would often use a unit's last stand to complete a clutch objective before passing out, or successfully evacuating themselves in another unit. The last stand mechanic truly goes a long way, but also does a good job of showing how much passion each of your units possess. Once you have received the spoils for more, you can use these resources to train and level up your units. In the training camp, you can level up all of your units in a single class, so you don't have to worry about having to level up each one individually. At the headquarters, you can also upgrade your equipment for your units. This allows you to customize how you want to use each unit individually, with the different gun types that you can give them. The upgrades in this game truly allow you to adapt your squad to your playstyle. At the end of the day, Valkyria Chronicles 4's gameplay is truly amazing and sublime to play. It keeps all of the core mechanics of previous entries, keeps what works, and begins to enhance it and add new ideas. I honestly only scratched the surface of the gameplay changes and potential in this game, but believe me, there's a lot more for you to do as you progress through the game. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is a gorgeous looking game. The storybook aesthetic this series has going on is in full shine here on this entry of the series. The levels are also really well crafted and are honestly some of the biggest maps in the series. There would even be times when I would send out a scout to see every nook and cranny the level has to offer. The only complaint I have about the presentation would have to be the radio chatter that you hear in battle. Honestly, the radio chatter is normally fine, but there were times where what was being said on the radio did not match what was happening in the game itself. It was just very jarring. Outside of that, everything about the presentation is fantastic. From the art style to the music to the voice acting to the performance of the game. The game is just a real treat to go through. Also, for those of you wanting the Nintendo Switch version, the game runs well on the Switch. The only thing you will have to worry about is the occasional frame dips when there's a lot of explosions or gunfire on screen. I have honestly only scratched the surface about everything that is Valkyria Chronicles 4 and the journey that you will be expecting. At a certain point in the game, the story will turn itself on its head, and the game you are playing after that point may feel like a completely different beast from the first half. I wish I could delve more into that, but believe me, it is a real treat. Valkyria Chronicles 4 will keep you on the edge of your seat from start to finish, and some of the plot twists and turns will leave you speechless at times. For longtime fans of the series, you will appreciate everything this game has to offer. For newcomers, this is a fantastic entry point for the series. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is a game that will not be leaving my mind for a long time to come. And that does it for our review of Valkyria Chronicles 4. To read the written review, be sure to check out our website, gaminggamma.com. A link will be provided down in the description bar below. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, there were so many more things I wish I could talk about with you guys about Valkyria Chronicles 4 that I was unable to in this review. But seriously, this game will be a real treat once you sink your teeth into it, and it will be a journey that you will not soon forget. If you have any questions for me about the game, by all means leave them down in the comments section below. I would love to answer them for you. Also, if you're new to my channel, finding it for the first time through this review, hey, be sure to subscribe for future reviews, commentaries, let's plays, and more. And as always everyone, thanks for watching.